So, usually the stories I pick to cherry pick here to talk about and delve into further in the pod are usually national stories that you've already heard of or at least somewhat familiar with, right? The one we're going to get into today, you probably haven't heard about yet. But it's so unbelievably ridiculous you're going to. Everybody's picking up Barstool, Outkick, all the major media sources. For this one, we're going to go to the picturesque little town of Ipswich, Massachusetts. Beautiful town. Seacoast town. It's right in the ocean. North Shore of Boston, that area, right? And you're going to think this is a fake story when I just give you the general gist of this in the headline, because I thought it was fake when I first saw it, too. I really did. This is what it is. High school students, lacrosse players from Ipswich High School were banned from their semifinal lacrosse game, right? For the high crime of posing for a graduation celebration picture with cigars. That's right. Not smoking them. No. Apparently some sort of a tradition that's in this town. They go by the coast and in their caps and gowns and they hold a cigar, right? Not lit. No. And this is what makes it even more ridiculous. They weren't even real cigars. Now, why is this catching fire throughout the entire country, even though it's a very, very localized New England kind of story? Because I would bet you know somebody in your local school district. Not teachers. I'm not saying teacher. Teachers are amazing people by and large. They're incredible. I couldn't do that job. But there's just something about academia. There's something about superintendents, principals. If they've never really lived in the real world, if they don't bring that real world experience into their job, something happens where they just completely lose all common sense. In every school district in the country, there's somebody like this principal and superintendent like in Ipswich, Mass. All of them. And you have to fight this stuff. Anyway, we'll get into it. It's unreal. All right, thanks for finding me. Business First, the Wicked Radio live stream, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on X, YouTube, and Facebook, and then the replay. Audio pod listeners, wherever you like to get your audio podcast, let's get to it right now. This is one of those deals where we have to, because this is all, obviously New England media sources, Manchester, New Hampshire, Boston, Providence, they all started this. Now it's spreading. Now we have to take it in pieces to tell the story again. In general, the general gist is Ipswich, Massachusetts lacrosse players banned from the semifinal tournament versus Cohasset. And there's some great Boston accents in this story, by the way, because of a graduation picture and what they were holding. Turns out to be fake cigars. We're going to take it in pieces here to give you the gist of the story. Here's Channel 5 in Boston, WCVB, telling it. And we're going to take it in pieces.
Today, Christian Giannakakis is at work, not play. The Ipswich senior is a member of the boys lacrosse team, a squad that's a win away from a state title game. Only following graduation, this photo of them with cigars is now keeping his team from playing.
The crime and the punishment are not even close to each other. And there's a judge and a jury, and it's evil right now.
After graduation, parents say numerous students were spotted smoking cigars. Christian and his teammates know the rules for athletes, the policy stating students may not use, consume, possess, buy, sell, or give away alcohol, tobacco products, or controlled substances.
First part of this whole thing is the dad there, right? He's key part of the story because all the parents are involved, as they should be. You can't let this kind of thing stand. So they stated the Massachusetts athletic rules there where you can't buy, sell, distribute, whatever it is, tobacco products. Again, let's keep in mind here in this story, they weren't doing any of that. It's tradition, I guess, in this town, graduation. Maybe it's lacrosse, football, maybe it's all kids, whatever. Cap and gown, go by in front of the beach and take a picture. They didn't do any of that. They haven't done anything wrong yet.
Includes non-alcoholic beer. His father, John, says the students asked him for help to find a way to participate in the tradition without violating these rules.
I can't get you real ones, but I've just started rolling cigars. I can try to make some fake ones if you guys just want to go down there and we can hang out.
He says he contacted a local cigar shop, gathered the supplies, and rolled the makeshift cigars sealed with painter's tape. They snapped this photo, enjoying a post-grad moment with the cigars. John saying the school saw the photo and took action, stopping them from playing in their semifinal game against Cohasset. He quickly went to the school principal.
So there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, this is where you get to the part, this wasn't even told in the first news reports of the story. They went from the kids, the lacrosse players, to try not to violate any rules because they didn't want to, first of all, screw up their graduation and have their diploma taken away. Secondly, they didn't want to risk anything in this unbelievable, undefeated, by the way, lacrosse season they're having so far. They didn't want to mess this up. The kids alerted the parents. They went to the parents like that dad you heard there who says, I just started rolling cigars, and I don't know what I can do. I can't give you real ones, but we'll go down there. They went to, at the request of the kids, they went to a local cigar shop, got fake material. The guy took blue duct tape and put them in there to make fake cigars. Again, this is coming from the kids because they knew the rule. Also in there, you heard something. What kind of a Karen, either in the school department or somebody in that town, saw this picture online, and one of the, it was one of the kids or one of the parents' graduation, their social media for a graduation photo. What kind of a Karen would turn them in over this and reported them and made it a big deal? So then they go on. 6 hours before this game, this semifinal game was supposed to take place of an undefeated season so far. 6 hours before, these kids and their parents and their families were alerted that they're not going to be able to play in the game, coming from the principal, who sent it on to the superintendent. Now, apparently, after a confrontation, the principal actually came to his senses after the parents, you're going to hear here in a second, stormed his office and demanded answers. It was the superintendent in this school district that disallowed these kids from playing in this game 6 hours ahead of time. Think about this for just a quick second. So these are lacrosse players, they're high school kids, lifelong friends. You talk about a core memory of a lifetime, win or lose, it's not about the game, ripped away from them over a stupid rule that they didn't even break. And they, obviously, parents were upset. This guy right here, who you saw in the first clip in the video, he goes to the principal's office where the confrontation, and this is key to it too, the confrontation took place. Somebody recorded it on cell phone video, which normally I'm not in favor of in any kind of a secret video. But in a case like this, where it's just so ridiculous, don't you kind of have to? Anyway, here's the confrontation in the principal's office, hours before this game where these kids were banned from playing in a semifinal game in an undefeated season.
You're not going to relitigate it because you don't want to hear it.
Because we already made the decision after we weighed all the evidence. It's all I've been doing for the last 2 days.
Is hearing from parents and kids
Yep.
that are good kids.
You call us all
I'm not
out.
saying-
They're terrific kids.
I'm
Kids
not
that have
saying-
scholarships for football and lacrosse and all this stuff. And you
But
think
they're
they're going
calling
to inhale
us
that? And you're telling me as a parent, I stink as a parent, that I will let
I'm
Luke
not saying that's true.
go smoke a stogie
I'm saying
and
kids-
risk everything he's been doing.
Now, the parent, maybe you're not in favor of this, whatever, maybe a parent in that situation should be a little calmer. I wouldn't be. I have a feeling you wouldn't be either. But can you blame the guy? That's a parent standing up for his kid. Yes, he's raising his voice. Yes, he's in the principal's office. And yeah, they are secretly recording it. So what? You've got to do something to fight back against these little local yokel tyrants. And I'm telling you, there's people like this in every school district in the country. Every single one of them, if you look hard enough, you can find them. I'm not attacking teachers. It's administrators like this that have a little bit of power, a little bit, to not even look the other way, to not understand the difference between the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. Law, rules, these kids didn't even break it. There's nothing they did wrong, and they still lost this opportunity. They go on. Here's more in the confrontation.
Your conscience is good with doing this.
I'm not saying I'm good with it, Drew. I'm very disappointed to have to do this, but I'm doing my job.
How
I
are
can
you-
enforce the rules. I can't just look the other way, and we've got more evidence that says they did it than not.
You do. You honestly believe that.
Yeah, the photograph, you can't lie with the photograph. You can laugh all you want. You can't laugh with the pictures. This discussion's over, guys. I let you guys in here out of respect.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ton of respect.
I don't know. I just can relate to the dad. I understand his anger. How outraged would you be as a parent? Yeah, a lot of respect. Yeah, thanks a lot. But did you happen to catch the words of the school principal there in Ipswich? It's there. I let you guys in here. The conversation's over. I've done everything. I'm doing my job. Conversation's over. Is it really, though? You didn't do anything to help out the parents and help out these kids that you supposedly, and I'm sure the guy got the job, interviewing on I care about the kids first and their future and all. What about them? What, they don't matter because they're graduating, they're out of your lives forever and you don't care? And you can't think, all of this could have been stopped. It's like every, the expression, you can't fight City Hall and you can't, yeah, I understand that. But you can push back. It's too late for these kids. I mean, they lost a core opportunity, and that's why this story's going viral and blah, 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 blah. But you have to. If it comes down to something like this about secretly recording him, taking a cell phone in with a conversation, posting that online, sending that off to the local news media, you have to. Because you have to push back as best you possibly can against tyrants like this. As outrageous as that is, Ipswich High School lacrosse players banned from their semifinal game. They had to forfeit it because of, and here's the official, oh, by the way, here's the official Massachusetts academic, whatever the hell that organization is, MIAA, whatever it is. The official reason, written in the record books, the win-loss record books forever, their entire season, a magical moment, memories for these kids forever. You know what the official reason is? Lack of players. Yeah. You know why? Because you banned them over nothing, you absolute freaking idiots. How sad is that? How outrageous is that? This is why this story is picking up ground, even though it's a localized kind of thing. I got something else for you. It's even more outrageous. So there was an undefeated season. I told you that. But you hear semifinals. I don't know where this is in this tournament. I don't know what this tournament is. I don't know lacrosse. They were one win away. One win away, if these kids were able to play and they didn't have to forfeit, from going on to their state championship. That's the real outrage on this. And they lost out. That's gone. That's changed. Can't do anything about that. That's gone forever for those poor kids. That's why this story is going viral as much as it is. Because it's just so outrageous and just so ridiculous. And a classic case of little local yokel officials overreaching, overusing their power, what little power they have, and destroying magical moments for these kids. I could understand it if they didn't want to look the way if they were breaking the law. Even if they were actually smoking cigars. Even if they were caught like with a joint somewhere. Even if they were caught having a couple of beers behind the bleachers for this thing. If it makes enough attention, nothing the principal and school superintendent can do. But in this case, where they literally, by the letter of the law, did nothing wrong, and they were suspended anyway because of these idiots that didn't want to, that had to save face. That's an absolute outrage. But again, I bet you it's in your local community, wherever you live. You can't let them do it. What do you do? So what's the big takeaway in something like this, right? Too late for these kids. But can you fight it? Can you fight City Hall, so to speak? Or can you fight the local school board? Not always. But don't you have to push back? And it's a little bit different now because of this social media age we live in. You can fight back. Not the biggest fan of secretly recording a meeting with a principal, but when they're acting like this, don't you kind of have to? And I will guarantee you this, and all I can do is tell you my perspective on this. Even if I didn't have kids in that school system, but I would be a taxpayer, let's pretend, in that town, right? I would guarantee you I would go to as many school board meetings as I possibly could and hold this principal and this superintendent accountable. I promise you I would do that because it's such a travesty, especially if you were like a longtime resident. What if you were a graduate and alumnus of that school and you saw this kind of thing happening? Regardless of what it is, to any of those kids, wouldn't you want to stand up? You kind of have to. The great news is, and there's always kind of a good takeaway, because of the power of social media now, like these parents who sent this to the local Boston media about this, this is number one topic of all to try to fight back. They can't do anything for their kids, but they can prevent kids coming up through the ranks from getting screwed over like this town did it to these ones. You got to fight back somehow. You just have to. Unbelievable, though. So you may not have heard about that story until now, but it's probably gonna grow. And I hate it that these kids were the sacrificial lambs for overreaching, ridiculous school officials. But takeaway is, at least you know you can fight back now somehow, some way to try to help it out. Unbelievable. All right, a little bit of outrage to head into the weekend, but sorry about that. At least it's not politics, right? Well, it's local politics, but still. Actually, hanging out with me. I'm out of material. Get into your weekend and make it a wicked awesome Friday. Audio podcast listeners, wherever you like to get your platform, thanks for the downloads and shares and follows and likes and all that good stuff, whatever they ask you to do. We're live for Wicked Radio, the live stream, Monday through Friday, Eastern Time on X, YouTube, and Facebook, and then the replay there whenever you want. Got to fight back. Can't always fight City Hall or the school board, but you got to try. Make it a wicked awesome weekend. I'll talk to you later.